what men consider great sex. In this video, I'm going to cover 10 key secrets of what men consider great sex so that you can have a deeper understanding of men's desires and cravings, and so that you can have a better relationship without bad sex and without your man getting turned off or losing interest in a physical connection with you. I'm Kevin Anthony with Magnetize Your Man, and I am a certified sexologist, tantra counselor, NLP practitioner, and sex, love, and relationship coach. For over 10 years, I have worked with men, women, and couples to help them have stronger, happier, more loving relationships and the best sex of their lives. All right, let's dive right in. Before I give you the 10 things, I need to tell you that not all men will want these things. However, what is important to understand is the type of man that you want to magnetize will want these things. So here's the first thing that men consider great sex. She is really into it. Yes, that is right. There is nothing worse than having sex with somebody who seems bored, not into it, not really engaged with what you are doing. So for a man, for him to really enjoy the sex and really think it's great sex, he wants to know that you're into it too, that you're enjoying it at least as much as he is, if not more. The next thing is she wants sex regularly. There's no way that a man is going to say that you are great in bed and he loves having sex with you if the sex is sporadic and there's huge gaps of time in between when you actually make love. It's really important for men to have sex regularly. And so they're not going to consider sex really to be great sex unless they are having it pretty regularly. Now, that doesn't mean that he couldn't have sex one time and it was really amazing and he says that's great sex. But we're talking about here in the context of magnetizing a man that you want for a long-term relationship. And in that case, for him to really think that the sexual component of your relationship is great, it has to be regular. The next one is that she gives his a lot of attention. Now, when I'm coaching men, I often tell them, don't go straight for a woman's genitals. Start elsewhere. Touch the back of her neck, touch her legs, touch her arms. But with men, you can go straight to the genitals, and men actually want you to go straight to the genitals. So the more attention you give to his and his genitals, the more he's going to think that this sex is great. And that takes me to the next one, which is blowjobs, blowjobs, blowjobs. I don't know a man that doesn't love a blowjob, and men will absolutely think sex is great if they're getting blowjobs somewhere in there and regularly, especially if they're good blowjobs. So for the ladies here, hopefully you enjoy giving blowjobs. If you don't, I hope that you can find a way to learn how to enjoy it, because it is something that men really love and really desire and really crave, and they are really going to think that you are amazing in bed if you are good at it. All right, the next one is she is responsive. What do I mean by responsive? Well, what I mean is she is reacting to what's happening. She's making noises. She's moving her body. Maybe in the height of passion, she's screaming. You're being vocal. You're speaking to him, potentially telling him things that turn you on or that you want him to do to you. It is really, really, really important for me, and I know for a lot of other men, that our partners are responsive. They are reacting in the situation. There's nothing worse than, making love to a woman and she's just laying there like a log. Is she enjoying it? I don't even know. So it's really important that she is responsive and that she's giving feedback throughout. And they don't necessarily have to be verbal cues. They can just be a way that you look at him. It could be a sound that you make. It could be your breathing. It could be the way you move your body. But being expressive in the lovemaking act is important. The next one is she is willing to mix it up. It is really important for men to do different things during a lovemaking session. And I'm always surprised how many people, when they make love, they just, okay, today we're in missionary position. And they just do missionary position for their 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, and then they're done. But to be really great sex, you got to mix it up a little. Maybe you start missionary. Maybe you move to she's on top. Maybe you move to doggy. Maybe you change from the bed to the couch, or from the couch to the bed, or something like that. Mix it up, move around, do different things. It's maybe a good idea to start with foreplay and then go into penetration, or maybe take a break from penetration and go back to some oral sex and then come back to penetration. The idea is to mix it up, to keep it alive, to keep it fresh, to do something different than the routine that you always do. The next one is she is willing to try new things. Sex can get routine. It shouldn't get routine, but it can get routine for a lot of people. One of the ways to make sure that it's not routine is to try new things. New things could be a new position. New things could be a new place in the house or maybe outside of the house. New things could be introducing some toys to the mix. There are a lot of different things that you could do to try something new. So my suggestion is that you do that. Don't allow the sex to become routine and boring. Try new things. And I know as a man, it's really exciting and fun to experiment and to try new things. And if it doesn't work out, laugh about it. If it turns into a complete disaster, laugh about it. Say, you know what? We're never going to do that again. And then try something else. You will be surprised how many things that you find that you didn't even know that you liked. The next one is that she understands that there is both an energetic and emotional component to sex. Sex is not just physical sensations. There is an energetic piece. So yes, there is the friction of body parts moving together, but there's also the energy that is exchanged between both of you. And if you really want to take sex to the next level, take it to what we would call mind-blowing, out-of-this-world sex, you have to engage the energetic component along with the physical component. And then, if you add the emotional component in there, now you've really got something. You've got the emotional component, the energetic component, and the physical component. And that is how you have truly mind-blowing sex. Now, I know a lot of men get a bad rap for not being emotional. And many of them, if you were to ask them about the emotional component, they may not use the right words to describe it. But believe me, men still want to have an emotional connection with you. And if they've had a relationship in the past where they've had an emotional connection during sex, then they'll really know exactly what they're looking for. If they haven't, they might not be able to describe it or really understand exactly what's missing. But when they finally get it, then they'll go, oh yeah, that took it to the next level. The next one is she understands where he is at on his arousal scale. Now, I do a lot of work teaching men how to last longer and how to be sexual masters. I spend a lot of my time doing that. However, no matter how good a man is at controlling his ejaculation and being able to last longer, if a woman really wants to take him over his edge and really, uses her physical and her energetic bodies to pull him over into ejaculation, she can do that most of the time. A lot of women actually do this unconsciously and aren't aware that they are doing it. So to have really great sex, in my mind, it has to be way longer than the average. There have been a few studies done on how long men last and how long women last on average. I talk about this a lot on my show. On average, in one study, they said men last 3 to 5 minutes. In another study, it said that they last 5 to 7 minutes, whereas the average woman took 20 to 30 minutes to have an orgasm. You can see there's a big disparity there. So if you want to have really great sex where both of you reach a climax, then he's got to be able to last longer than that, 3 to 7 minutes-ish, even 10 minutes, even 15 minutes. So one of the things that you can do as a woman is to be aware of where he is in his arousal scale. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being ejaculation, 1 being not turned on at all, where is he in that scale? Now, there's a sweet spot between 6 and 8, which is really where he wants to be during that lovemaking. So as a woman, it's a real skill for you to be able to pay attention and understand where relatively he's at in that scale. And if you realize he's like at a 9-ish, you might want to back down your energy level a little bit and let his energy level come down. And you can play with the energies like that if you're both aware of where you are in that arousal scale. And you can manage to sort of ride the waves of energy until you choose to have an orgasm. Now, ladies, I know what you're thinking. But I was so close. I didn't want to back my energy down because then I was going to lose my orgasm. That is not necessarily true. You may forego the immediate impending orgasm, but you will likely have a bigger one later on down the road and more of them later on down the road if you are willing to back your energy down a little bit and let him recover. After enough waves of up and down, he should be able to get into a sweet spot where he can really hold it and withstand the powerful orgasmic waves that you are going to have. So don't worry about foregoing that early orgasm, especially if it's one of those early explosive clitoral orgasms, because you're likely to reach bigger, better, and more orgasms down the road if you can help him ride those waves a little bit more. And the last one is she is really present and engaged in the experience of sex. What do I mean by that? I mean that she is present with you. What tends to happen when people, and this happens for both men and women, maybe men a little bit more, but women still do this. What happens is in the moment, in that pleasure, you get lost in your own head. You close your eyes, you roll your head back, and you're lost in the moment. There are sensations happening to you, but you're focusing more on the sensations and less on the person that you're actually having sex with. So to have really great sex from a man's point of view, I want my woman to be engaged with me. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be staring me deeply in the eyes the entire time, although that's not a bad thing. But it does mean that you need to be really engaged in what we are co-creating together. And that is a really big point. This isn't me just giving to you, you just giving to me, or anything like that. This is a co-creation of the two of us. That is how we get to those levels of mind-blowing, really amazing sex. So moving forward, it's important for you to make sure that you're doing these things so your sex life improves and your man will stay turned on and interested in you physically. Next, if you'd like to hear more content from me, you can follow me right here on YouTube at Kevin and Celine, or you can listen to the Love Lab podcast on any major podcast platform or right here on YouTube. Also, if you go to kevinandceline.com/vault, you can get access to a free library with tons of content on sex, love, and relationship. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you soon.